Hi folks, it's Tom from psychsafety.com here, and this is just a short video about the streetlight effect, a phenomenon where we look where it's easiest to look, and this is a danger. It is a psychological phenomenon, but it's also a phenomenon in organisations, and it's a dangerous path to go down. But it's an easy trap to fall into. As William Bruce Cameron explained in 1963, not everything that can be counted counts, and not everything that counts can be counted. What we mean essentially is that measuring the important stuff, the really important stuff like happiness, inclusion, psychological safety, and things like safety itself are really hard to measure. And because those things are very difficult to measure, we don't have a safetyometer that we can stick into the organization and get a nice number out. Because that's hard to measure, we measure other stuff. So organizations often don't measure what matters. They measure what they can, and they make that matter. And that's the streetlight effect. And it's named after a cartoon in a paper called the Florence Morning News in 1942. And there's a cartoon in it, in this paper, where a chap, I believe a drunk chap, is walking, is kneeling on the ground under a lamppost, looking and scrabbling on the floor, and a policeman walks up to him and asks what he's doing, and this chap says he's looking for a quarter. He's dropped a quarter. So the policeman says, "Oh, where did you drop it?" And the chap says, "Well, 2 blocks over." And so the policeman says, "Well, why are you looking here?" And the drunken chap says, "Well, because the light's better here." Now, so this cartoon coined the effect, but the idea itself predates this considerably in Islamic folklore, with the character Nasreddin, who loses a ring in a dark room of the house and looks for it in the yard instead because the light's better there. But the streetlight effect is stuck, and and you see this in organizations a lot of the time. We track things like hours spent, or when people clock in and clock out, utilization, story points, mouse movement for whether someone's being productive at their desk. We run surveys because surveys are easy to run, but customers, patients, staff, and things, they don't care about that sort of data. We care as patients, customers, and employees. We care about the important things, the stuff that matters, outcomes, whether we actually got the thing we wanted, whether was I helped, was I treated as a genuine human person, did this product actually work? But those things are much harder to measure. So because they're harder to measure, organizations often don't. They measure what they can. Instead, they count incidents and audit compliance, and things like that. But as Carsten Bush says, an absence of accident is not the same as the presence of safety. We must be careful not to conflate these two things and draw connections where they don't necessarily exist. So yeah, this is called the streetlight effect, and it manifests in organizations because we measure what's visible, we measure what we've got access to, we measure what is legible, so this is what will fit well into dashboards and look good in reports, actually fit into reports. We measure what's defensible, what we can justify measuring to management and leadership, and in particular, we measure what we measure what makes us look good. It's all about appearance, particularly what makes us look good in compared to other people, teams, or organizations. And everything else, all the important stuff, what matters, often becomes invisible. And psychological safety certainly isn't immune to this. Just because we can run a survey to measure psychological safety, should we? If all it gives us is some metrics and scores, but not understanding, not the granular wisdom and insights about what's actually happening, we may be looking in the wrong place. We may be looking under the streetlight, but being led in the wrong direction. We might not find what we're actually looking for, and what we do find might lead us in the wrong direction still. But measurement itself, looking into the light, measurement can feel productive. This can lead to measurement theatre, survey theatre, and it leads to dashboards and reports and slide decks and productive looking things. No one ever got sacked for creating more data or creating more dashboards. But all this data, if it doesn't change what we do, if it doesn't allow us to make better decisions, or if it points us in the wrong direction, it becomes theatre, and it can actually cause harm rather than good. So instead, if we need to understand what, and we need to understand what really matters. We have to be willing to look in the dark. We have to see in the darkness, and that means it means more difficult things, more qualitative sense making kind of activities, things like action research, which is doing the work and learning whilst doing it, listening to stories, sometimes known as narrative capture, and qualitative sense making, which is a fancy term for essentially uh, gathering knowledge and insights with people, surfacing meaning together rather than having knowledge and stuff extracted from people, which is what analysts and consultants usually do. Um, what essentially we're talking about is that measurement should serve us, should serve learning, not the other way around. And finally, just a point about metrics and reality, because metrics don't just describe reality, metrics shape reality. The numbers that we have in reports and on dashboards and are presented to senior leaders and managers in organizations and everyone else in organizations, they shape reality. The numbers that we see shape how we feel about the world around us and shape what we believe about the world around us. So the real question isn't what we can measure, what can we measure? The real question is, what kind of organization are our measurements creating? If we only ever look under the streetlight, we may never find what actually matters. So that was a quick rundown of the Streetlight Effect. You can find out more about the Streetlight Effect over at psychsafety.com. And you can find out loads more. You can find loads more stuff there, as well as our online training, our toolbox, our toolkits, our workbooks, playbooks, trainer toolkits, community. You can access our online community. You can join our events and psych safety days. You can get stickers and sign up for more training and all sorts of other stuff. So yeah, I'd love you to head over there, sign up to our newsletter, find out more, and I'd love to find out where and how and what you've seen, how you've seen the Streetlight Effect manifest in organizations. So comment, like, share, do all that YouTube stuff, and I'll see you next time.